Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from. Where is everybody joining from today? I'm in Colorado. Just getting some final things set up for today's class. Ottawa, welcome, welcome. We're going to be doing a really fun exercise today where we're going to be leaving a bunch of stuff to chance. And I'll give you guys an opportunity to screenshot if you need to. I also have a PDF if you need to download this little thing for afterwards. We're going to be actually using some dice to help us decide the shapes of the birds that we're going to be painting today. I did a video this week talking about making a bird in 3 strokes, and we can also show that if we have some time towards the end of class. But I also want to show kind of how simple it is to make these imaginary birds by just combining a couple little variables, and it can be really fun. It can also kind of help you get out of a bit of an art. You almost forgot about class today. I forgot to schedule it until yesterday, so maybe we're on the same page. How is everybody's Saturday going so far? Also, I want to talk about a couple housekeeping type things. First of all, especially before I talk about the second thing, there is an account that is pretending to be me. There's at least one. I don't know if there are more because they block me, so I can't. It is kind of harder for me to actually go check. So I've got to figure out how to make I know how to make a lurker account, but I need to actually do that. So if the main problem with these, aside from them just taking my stuff, is that sometimes then what they do is they will actually message people and try to get them to fill out a form or something that can potentially take your personal information. So if you get a message from me and you have, I don't typically send people messages, to be honest. So if you get a message from me, be very, very suspicious, because the chances of that are pretty low, especially if I'm asking you for something like your credit card information. I'm not going to do that. Not going to do that. Not going to do that. Hello, everyone. So, just be really wary. I know it's happening to me, it's happening to Andrea, it's happening to a bunch of other people. So if as a matter of fact, if you get a message from a creator that's asking you for like credit card information or saying you won something, unless you know for a fact that they're doing a giveaway, I would not fill any of that out, just kind of as a little thing. Even if what we've found is when you report these accounts, they don't actually get taken down. So they're just kind of always a possibility of getting scammed by them. So it's really frustrating because I don't want anything bad to happen to you guys. So just be extra cautious. Hello. All right, so the other thing that I want to talk about today is we're going to be painting these birds, and I'm actually going to be painting them on these little like postcards because I think it'll be kind of fun. And then what I actually want to do is I just launched a Patreon, and after class I'm going to make a post, and any of the little birds that I made, when I make this post, like the first however many people there are of these postcards who like say hello or whatever in the comments on my Patreon, I will then message you through Patreon, not through anything else. So again, we have to be careful with the messaging part of this, and I'll send you one of the postcards. So I'm going to be painting on these. They're little cold press, I think they're 140 pound, I believe they are, little postcards. And watercolor is actually pretty durable. I did a test like a year ago where I actually did seal one and then I didn't seal one, and I sent both of them to Andrea, and they both showed up looking the same. So watercolor is surprisingly durable when you send it through the mail. All right, so what we're going to do is we're actually about to get started. So if you are going to be doing this, you're going to need some paper, however you want to paint. We're going to need something to sketch with. We might also want a pen if you want to add any final details at the very end of this. And then whatever brush, it's not going to matter so much. And then if you guys want to do your own, you're going to need some dice to roll for the options, or you can just follow along with the ones that I'm going to be doing. So everybody go ahead, let's grab our supplies, let's wet our paints just a bit so that they're ready to go when we're ready to go. And why don't you guys give me a thumbs up in the comments when you're actually ready to go. I'm going to do a little overview here of what we're about to do. But that way I know if you guys are actually ready to start painting. So what we're going to do today, by the way, my name is Lacey. I'm the artist behind Rebel Unicorn Crafts. And we do live watercolors every other week together. And sometimes we do fun little activities to kind of help you get out of a creative slump. And other times we do more kind of intense or actually talk about techniques and things like that. Today we're doing kind of one it's going to be a little bit about sketching, which I know can sound really scary, but most of these shapes are triangles, ovals, circles, that type of thing, and then we're just going to combine them. So we're going to talk about how to do that, but then what we're going to do is we'll also kind of just very loosely put the colors in there. So sometimes you don't need a ton of technique to do something that's just really fun, and this is going to kind of be a little creative blockbuster. Got lots of thumbs up. Some people are going to only sketch today. That's totally fine. Let's also make sure, I feel like this is not focused quite right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys this. And I'm also going to move you guys in a little bit closer, because when we actually do this, I want you to be able to see what I'm doing a little bit better. So if anybody has motion sickness, you might want to look away for just a second while I move the camera down just a bit. And that's going to happen in 3, 2, and 1. All right, we're a little bit closer. So if you want to, you can take a screenshot of this, because this is the general thing we're going to be using today. And we're going to actually start by rolling for some of these to figure out what we're going to be doing for our first one. So for our first bird, the head, we're only going to need one set of dice for some of these, but for the color, we're going to need a combination. So for the head, we're going to have a square head. So then for the body, we're going to have a rectangle. And I don't actually have this specified, so I could either do a rectangle like this or a rectangle like this. So that's the head, body. For the beak, oh my gosh, I've got 3 5s in a row. We're going to have a small hook, so just a little hook, kind of like a raptor or an eagle type one, but maybe not quite so big. For the tail, oh, I thought I was going to roll another 5. We rolled a 6, so it's not going to have no tail. So it's just going to stop. We'll do a whole bunch of variations of these, and these will all kind of turn out. Now, as far as the bird color, I'm going to do 2, maybe 3. And Monica nicely pointed out that if I roll 2 dice, I will never get the brown. So on the very first one, we're going to roll with 1, and then on the second one, I'll roll with both dice, so we get the 2 different colors. So here's 1. So we're going to have gold. You could do this with more colors. You don't have to just do 2. I'm just going to do 2 for simplicity's sake. And then we got 5. We got so many 5s in this. We had 4 out of 5 5s. That's pretty funny. All right, so silver. You know what? I think I might. Yeah, okay. Let's keep it at gold and silver. We'll see how it works. We can always add more colors if we feel like it. All right. So how are we going to combine these things? Let's actually talk about this, and then we're going to talk about also something else that I get a question about a lot, and that is pencil lines. And how do you deal with the pencil lines for a watercolor and getting rid of them? And this is a little bit of a tricky topic, partially because it's going to come down to preference. So a lot of times people don't really mind seeing the pen. They don't think that it's that big of a deal. I tend to be one of those people who does not mind having the pencil lines actually shown. But a lot of people don't like it. So how do you make sure that you don't have pencil lines? And the key to this is going to be something like one of these kneaded erasers. And when you draw, so let's say you're drawing your bird like this, then you're going to want to remove as much of that as you possibly can so that it's really light, so that the colors you're adding on top of it are going to obscure it. Now, in general, during this class, I'm going to be drawing pretty darkly, and I'm going to be leaving them there, because once we actually paint on top, it basically seals that graphite to the paper. So after you paint, you can't come in and then erase something that's under the paint. Oops. All right, we got it. We're having some focus issues today, sorry. So we do want to make sure that when we start, you are just more careful. You can use something like watercolor pencils in order to actually have them just kind of disappear into it, but they don't erase as well as something like a graphite pencil is going to do. So if you make a mistake, you're kind of stuck with the marks that you've made until you paint on them. You're opening your kneaded eraser. All right, so what we're going to start to do is actually try to combine these. So for this one, we have a square head. So my bird's going to kind of be centered here-ish. So let's just start kind of trying to, and I am going to round the corners a bit, because obviously even if a bird is has a squarish head, it's not going to have the sharp corners. And I am going to start by drawing lightly. Somebody mentioned an owl sounds good. And yeah, we could definitely, with a square and then a rectangular body, this could definitely turn out to be an owl. The key with these, when we're combining these, is to kind of overlap, or when you touch them together, you're going to kind of round the points that are going to connect the different pieces together. So let's start with this. So we've got that squarish head, and then let's make the body this rectangle. And this is actually going to be great because, yeah, we don't have a tail on this one. So I'm kind of just trying to make these being kind of loose. So this is my general shape of my bird. And then I'm going to kind of just connect these pieces together. I'm going to go ahead and pretty much erase these. We'll leave a little mark of these just so we kind of know. It actually does kind of look like an owl type shape, so this is kind of perfect. So we'll be able to put those wings kind of in here. We said this is going to have a little hooked beak, so we could try to do this towards the side like that if we wanted to, but let's try on this one to have it facing forward. So most of the other ones we'll probably do to the side, because then it really simplifies how we have to draw the front part. But for this one, we're going to try the side. Now, just knowing what I know about owls, they usually kind of have kind of these round areas where their eyes are going to be. So we're going to kind of keep that in mind while we're doing this. These don't need to be perfect. We're kind of making silly little, you know, birds here. We could come up and kind of give it like the great horned owl if we wanted to. What do you guys think? Should we do great horned owl, or should we keep it kind of smoother? 5 is the number of the owl for sure. And then we said gold and silver. Keep it smooth. Okay, let's keep it smooth. I'm just going to erase a couple of these little marks. And I'm going to keep these kind of on here just so that you guys can see what I'm doing. And then we said we were doing gold and silver. So I'm going to go ahead and let's actually start to paint this on here, because we're going to do a bunch of these today. And then what we'll do is after they dry, so as we do each one, we're going to kind of let it dry. And then we can come back in with some pen details to really kind of bring these to life. All right, so what I want to do, this is going to be a little different since I'm just using metallic paints because we got gold and silver together. But in general, in order to kind of make things have the illusion of being rounded or a little bit more dimension. We want the darker colors to be along the sides and kind of in the center. We wouldn't want as much. So I might leave this part mainly white. And then the other thing is I might try to leave the inside parts of this kind of white. So let's start. I'm going to start with the silver because I think I can. This silver is kind of darker. This is my moon dust one. So I'm going to start by actually placing this. Let's put this kind of around the edges of the body. And we're not, this class here, we're not caring so much about the watercolor and the techniques that we're doing. This is more about kind of like getting out of your comfort zone and just trying to like go with the flow a bit. But I am trying to kind of do what I was talking about, where I'm going to place the majority of the color on the edges, and then let's kind of wash that towards the center. So this whole area is technically wet, but not all of it. Okay, so I've got that silver. The silver will actually look shinier the more it dries. And then let's do the same thing kind of along the head as well. And then we're going to add in some of that gold. We could always wait till this dried to add in the gold as kind of like defined little splotches. That might be kind of neat. And then we're just going to soften that in. I think that the pen details are going to really help us define this one. We're going to have to wait for this to dry for that to happen. I tend to like to add my pen details afterwards. That's a personal preference. A lot of people like to ink first, and then they will add. And then I'm just going to add in a little more of this color towards the bottom. And then maybe even a little shadowing kind of here to indicate where those wings are going to be, because we're going to kind of put them on here. It's going to be kind of a goofy little dude, but we're going to love him. And maybe even a little tiny bit of shadowing kind of along the chin area. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave this one here for now because I want to come back in with the gold on a dry layer and just lay down little spots so they're going to stay where I place them. But as you can see, this one's pretty wet, so we need to wait. So we're going to roll for another one, and then we'll come back and we'll add this in just a minute. They did kind of turn him from an owl to a penguin. Let's see. How would we fix this? I guess it would kind of come... I don't know. Here, we'll soften that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens in the next round. Okay. All right, I'm going to set this one to the side. Let's roll again. Last year we made, when we did this, last year I actually did this with Andrea. This was one of our ones for World Watercolor Month that we did a joint live together. We had all sorts of trouble with the direction the cameras were facing, but we made some really funny birds. Like the bird I made was so plump. I loved him. All right. So next what we're going to do is we're going to roll again because we're going to start another one. So our head is going to be 6. Ooh, okay, good. We're not on the 5 train yet. So this is going to be a head with a tuft. So when I say a little tuft, what we mean is like, you know how some birds, they have that little like crest on the side, like a blue jay or something, that little tuft. So we're going to be doing something that has to do with a tuft on this one. The body is going to be a plump circle. Okay, I love that. So just kind of a big circle, real plump. That'll be fun. The tail, we're going to have a long, flat tail. So maybe it's going to kind of come down and then just be blunted. We'll work on this a little bit more. Maybe we could even kind of fan it out, but just make it flat. The beak is going to be short and dull. So we kind of want to do like more of a rounded type thing. Short, dull. I'm just gotta make some little marks for myself. And then the colors we're gonna do on this one, we're gonna have brown. There we go, we finally got brown. And then brown and yellow. Okay. All right, so let's combine those into some sort of a bird here. So we had a round small, I believe. Or no, we had the head with a tuft. So we can do basically any shape we want. I'm going to go kind of for the round small, but it's going to have a tuft. And this one's going to be facing to the side. So his beak is going to be pointing in that way. So we're kind of getting a profile view. Okay, so we're going to go with a little head here. Just kind of making a little circle. Let me make sure. I don't know why we're having so many problems with the... Let's see. Somebody gave me a tip a while ago with the focusing to keep things here, but I feel like it's like really doing this a lot. And then we're gonna have a little tuft here. So I'm just gonna kind of indicate that there's some sort of a tuft. I'll probably actually define the tuft more when we actually do the painting. And then let's give him, actually, you know what I need to do? I'm gonna erase this if I can find my eraser. We're gonna start with the body so that he's better centered on the page. Okay, all right, starting over. So we have a big, round, plump body. And we do need to have room for that tail, so I guess I gotta stop there. I really want to lean into the plump body though, because my favorite bird from the last time was a very round, plump bird. And then let's put his little head here. When you put the head, if you put it kind of in the center, you can, but I typically like to put it off to one side so that it really kind of shows that general shape of it looking over to the side. So then I'm going to put that little head here and then make sure I kind of indicate that there's going to be a tuft. Then we're going to round those pieces together. Maybe the tuft would actually be kind of up here more. And let's clean up this shape a little bit as we go. This is not going to be perfect. That's okay. I'm so sorry about the constant moving of the thing. We had a short, dull beak, so let's give him just a little dull beak there. You can really start to see that bird actually start to form once we put that eye. And then we had a long, flat tail. So let's bring this down here, and then I kind of feel like it should kind of fan out a little bit. And then since we have that long tail, I do feel like we need to kind of place this bird on something. So I'm going to kind of indicate that there's going to be like a branch or something here. And then we'll have his little feet come in here, just so that we kind of know, okay, this bird is kind of sitting on this branch or something. And technically, I think this tail would probably go on the other side of this. So maybe what we'll do instead of having to deal with that is just erase this side of it, because I want to be able to actually show the tail. So we're just going to kind of work with it. All right, so we have this. I'm going to clean up a couple of these pencil lines. Just a bit. I am trying to keep these so we can see them a little bit, but I don't want them to be... These ones are pretty messy. All right, it's cleaned up a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we had brown and yellow. Now I'm feeling like a lot of times with the tufts on birds, that's where their really bright colors are. So I think I'm going to really concentrate that yellow here. And then there's often also usually when there's a really bright color, a lot of times it's also seen on the breast of the bird. So we might actually try to put it there. And before I actually start putting this color down, I feel like I have really lost the plot on the messages. So let me just go back and see if there's anything that I need to do. Yeah, the list, I put it on my stories, so you can screenshot it there. And I also I've added a new section on my website that's PDF downloads. So sometimes I'm going to put in like something you could trace, or for example, this. You just released a small, round, short, dull, brown sparrow. All All right, it looks like Monica is doing as usual a very nice job of helping in the comments. So thankfully, you guys are being well taken care of. All right, I'm getting some brown here, and I'm going to do kind of a light wash of brown for most of this. And this is going to be a pretty light color, maybe even lighter than that. Let's make it just a little bit lighter. I think I might also kind of add some spots just because that's what I'm feeling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by just placing this around most of this bird, just because I want there to be some kind of watercolor effect. So I'm placing it kind of here. And then what I'm going to come in and do is I'm going to grab some of this bright yellow, and let's put that here. And then we'll put a little water in and let's soften them together so that we kind of get that softening. Again, I'm going to grab a whole bunch of yellow and let's put that here, soften in, and then towards the tip of that tail too. The other thing I'm going to do here though is I'm going to be dipping more directly just right into one of these pans to get more of a concentrated brown color. And I'm going to start to kind of place this just along the edges. That might be a little bit too much, so maybe we'll lean into that. And let's give them some spots. Let's give them a couple spots. I think this one's going to be kind of cute. All right, I'm also going to take some black, or you could do a dark brown or something like that, and let's put that in the beak here. Ooh, we got a lot of bleeding. That one's a little bit too wet, so I'm going to take a little bit of that away. I want it to bleed a little bit, but not a ton. So we had a short, dull beak. Okay. We can also start to kind of hint to these little feet here if we want to. They usually kind of wrap around. There's basically like a couple toes in the front and then one that wraps around to the back. I just like to swipe my brush a couple times because this is not so much about, the feet. The main deal is going to be the color and shapes of these birds. I'm also getting a little bit of collection of a lot of water here. I'm just going to kind of redistribute that so that I don't get as big of a back run right there. And again, this one's going to be set to the side in order for us to actually let it dry so we can add the pen details that are going to really kind of finalize this bird. Okay, now I'm going to check on this one. Ooh, we can really see the silver. And this is dry enough for me to add in some of this gold. I'm going to switch over to a smaller brush. I've been trying to just use one brush, but I kind of want a smaller one for adding in some of these little dots. I'm going to put a little more water on that. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to grab some of this. And then what I wanted to do here is I want to give him some like little spots. So I think I'm going to do a couple things. One, this isn't totally dry, so it might bleed just a tiny bit, but it is pretty dry to the touch. We're just going to make, oh yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to do. These little marks, maybe make them a little bit smaller as they go towards the center. I don't know if I'm being unrealistically optimistic, but I think this one's going to be really cute once we add the pen details. I also think I want this area to also have a lot of this gold. By the way, this is my favorite handmade color that I make. This is called Unicorn Money. It is like such a creamy gold color. I'm going to soften this in. So I put that down and then I put a little water on my brush and let's just kind of soften this in just a little bit. And then I might regret this, but I'm going to do it. But I kind of feel like I want to do a couple up here. Okay. Again, I think the pen details are going to make or break this one, but so far I kind of like it. All right, let's do another bird. You guys ready for a third bird variation? Okay, let's get this back. Also, if you missed the beginning, if you need to screenshot now, we're going to do this. So here is the little thing, but I also do have a couple other ways for you to get this. All right, so for the head on this one, we're going to have a round, large head. Okay. We're going to have a rectangular body. So again, we could make this way, or we could do, it makes a little more sense for this to be kind of in this direction. And we can also rotate these. So we don't have to stack these exactly. You could also take your shape and kind of rotate it so that the body is kind of going in one direction or another. We're going to have a long flat tail. We already did this one, but you know, we got that. And then we're going to have the beak is going to be a short, sharp beak. Actually, that even kind of looks cute even just there. Sometimes these little sketches, I'm like, how come the painting isn't as cute as my little sketch? All right, for the bird color, okay, we're doing brown. Monica, I think the dice listened to you when you figured out that we would never get brown if I rolled 2 dice for this one. Monica let me know that, and now we're just going to get brown bird every time. Brown and green. Okay. Okay. Yeah, brown wants to be represented. Oh, my nails, they have but different summer fruits on them. I've actually switched over to using press-on nails, and you can get really fun patterns. These actually stay on better than I thought they would. I've had these on for almost a week, so that's good. Not green, it's gold. 12. Oh, I've got on mine. I've got 12 as green. Oh, 6. I'm sorry. Yeah, you guys are right. Wow, I read that as my brain multiplied multiple times. Brown and gold. Okay, those will be nice colors together. I'm hoping we get some more fun colors, because I was thinking these would have like really bright colors, but so far we've got brown. The most colorful color we've had is yellow. All right, let's do this again. So we have a big head, or like a large head compared to the rectangle. Again, I kind of like this idea of these shapes together, kind of like the wings coming off, but I don't know if we should deal with that. So let's start with that body. I'm trying to figure out if I want this to go at an angle. I guess I do. It's got to be a rectangular angle, or a rectangle. All right, we're going to round the corners of that just a bit, kind of a rectangular shape. The tail is going to be long and flat, long-ish, I suppose. And then this one, it was supposed to have a round, big head. So let's actually give him a pretty big head compared to the body. This is going to be a real goofy looking bird, which I love. And then it's going to have a short, sharp beak. I don't know why, but I'm getting Tweety Bird vibes from this, kind of. So Nick and I were talking the other day. Did anybody else go through, this has got to be a real 90s kid thing, but I went through a real phase, and apparently so did Nick, and we grew up on different sides of the country of where we just drew Tweety Bird all the time. Did anybody else go through that phase, or is that just, that might be way too niche? I'm going to round the front of this a bit more, just because I feel like it. And again, I think I'm going to give him something he's sitting on. So we'll give him, I might even just kind of like, let's just hint to him, maybe he's sitting on the top of like a fence. There. You had so many Tweety things. Hello to Mexico. You read green as well. We're all on the same page. Okay, so our bird is going to be brown and gold. Maybe we'll add in some green since I got very confused. And then I guess we just kind of like hint to the, maybe we'll ignore the fact that there are feet on this one. We're just going to kind of lean into that, the fence thing. Let's bring his butt down a little bit more to cover where his feet would be. You painted a lot of wrens lately. It counts as a Tweety Bird. All right, so let's add this one. We got brown, we got gold. Okay, we're gonna do, in general, where would the wing be? So his head's here, and let's say his tail is here. So there would probably be like some wing kind of hinted to here, just to kind of try to understand a little bit of what's going on here and where the shapes would be. They would kind of meet in the back, maybe somewhere around here. So let's start. Again, we're going to start with this light brown color I mixed up, and let's put that on. Let's work on the body first. So I'm just kind of wetting the whole body with this light wash. His short or his long flat tail. And then I'm going to grab more of the brown, and let's actually use that to kind of shadow. Ooh, I really got a lot of that. A little more than I meant to. We're trying to shadow kind of around the wings to give them a little bit of depth. But I went a little bit too hard on that. So I can always wash my brush off and then just kind of smooth that down. And let's make that tail have some nice brown on it as well. Okay, let's do kind of the same up here on the head. Just kind of putting some light brown, some water down here so I can get, because I do want some of the watercolor effects to happen. And I'm going to take this brown, and then a lot of times they have kind of, I like to look at birds who have kind of this little like collar, like a ring of color kind of around there. This will change quite a bit as this bleeds together and things. But let's put some of this brown here. And then let's grab some of that gold. And let's, while this is still a little wet, I'm in the mood for these spots for some reason, so we're gonna add in some of these. I'm gonna add it to the tip of his tail. And then let's add this kind of to the top of his head around here. Maybe he's got some little spots here too. And then I'm going to add in the beak as well. So I'm going to grab some of this. And remember, when we're adding these, I do like the beak to bleed in just a bit, but you got to be a little careful based on how wet the paper is, because it's still pretty wet there, so we're going to get quite a bit of bleeding. And I know I'm cheating by using black, and this is not one of the colors, but I feel like it needs it, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So we had a short, sharp beak, so just a little one here. Oh, he's going to be kind of funny looking, isn't he? All right, we're going to set that one to the side. Let's revisit. Let's take a look at the ones that we've done so far. This one's your favorite so far. So here was our first one, and this one's still just a little bit too wet for me to add the pen details on, so we do need to let that one sit a little bit more. Same with this one. It's getting close. We could use a hairdryer, but I want to do as many of these as I can, just because I think it's going to be kind of fun. Oops, getting a little bit too much bleeding here. And for those of you who are like, how do you fix that? Because you might not know. If you take a dry, clean brush, you can always just come in here and kind of push that color around just a little bit. Okay. Make it dry. Yeah, oh, on my Patreon, I made it's Team Make It Dry. He's emo. Oh yeah, he kind of looks like he's gonna have some of the front things. Okay, we're gonna roll for one more, and then we might make some of these dry so that we can bring at least a couple of these full circle in case somebody needs to leave soon. But we're actually getting through these pretty fast because we're only about 30 minutes in, and we've already painted the bodies and everything of 3 of the birds. Also, if you're just joining, I'm doing these on little postcards that are made of watercolor paper. And so what I'm going to be doing, again, housekeeping, there is somebody who's pretending to be me. So if you get a direct message from me, like through TikTok or through something like that, and it's probably not me, don't give them any information. But I just launched a Patreon, and after class, I'm going to finish these, and then I will make a post on my Patreon, and the first few people who comment, I will message through Patreon, very specifically through Patreon, not through anywhere else, for your address, because then I can send you a little postcard. So if you want one of these, that's what's going to be happening with these when they're done. All right, we're going to roll again. I've got to find some space to actually make my little notations. So for the head, we just did a round large. Are you okay with me? I wanna re-roll the round large. I feel like we've done. Re-roll. Okay, good. Re-roll. Head with tuft. Okay, we did do a tuft, but I feel like since it lets us do whatever shape we want of the head, I'm gonna keep the tuft because it's gonna give me some more. Body, small round. Okay, it's gonna be at least a different shape. So we're gonna have like and we want the body to be basically the same size or even potentially smaller to get some difference. The tail is going to be a forked tail. Okay, so this is kind of like, I was thinking like a swallow, you know how they have that like forked type tail when I was making these. The beak is going to be a long, dull beak. Oh, this is going to be a funny looking one. So we're going to have it be real long and very dull. It's like Woody the Woodpecker. Okay, we're going to roll for the bird color. Again, we're going to start with 1 dice. And not brown, not brown, not brown. Okay, ooh, we got yellow. I'm hoping we're going to get a really fun color for our second one. All right, we ready? White or neutral? Also, let's just double check since last time my brain went to the wrong one. That is 11, white or neutral. Okay, apparently, again, yellow is still the color that I have managed to roll. Maybe I'd say we re-roll. Okay, we can do a third one because since white, yeah, we already kind of had white. All right, one more color. 9. Purple. Okay, oh, that'll be fun. Purple and yellow. Those are complementary colors, so it'll look fun together. And we could actually technically use the combination of the yellow and purple together. When you mix them together, it will make kind of a neutral color. So we could even use the combo of the two to make the neutral. That's fun. Okay, I'm happier. I'm glad you guys encouraged the re-roll. Okay, so we have a head with a tuft. We can do any shape head we want, but we do need to have a small round body. So let's start there. We're just going to start with a little itty bitty round body here. Okay. Then we're going to have some sort of a tuft. I'm going to bring this over to kind of the side. I think I'm just going to do kind of another round one. But let's, oh wait, we need a long, dull beak. So I'm going to bring this actually over a little bit more. So let's bring this over a little bit more so we have more room for that beak, because we're only going to really be able to see it if it goes to the side, because we want this to be kind of funny. So let's give him a little tuft here. He's going to be looking this way, so that let's give him a real I like it. It's very silly, but I like it. Triangular head. Yeah, we could do kind of more of a, maybe the head. Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that. Yes, I think that was the right call to kind of, I might give it a little bit of a thing, but in general, it's more of a triangular lead, a chainsaw beak. These ones are so fun. Oh, and then we have a forked tail. So the tail is going to come down, and then let's actually have it kind of fork like a swallow. And this one, again, we're going to have him sitting on some little thing. So we're just going to have his little feet kind of here. Okay, this one is so far my favorite. We'll have to wait and see how the color comes together. But I do think this one has the potential to be super cute. All right, I'm going to kind of clean up a couple of my little lines here. And then after we paint this one, we are going to make some of those other ones dry so we can add some pen details to them. So we've got yellow and we've got purple as our main colors. I'm going to actually start, I think I want the main part of the body to be purple, and then I want like the accents, like the tips of the tail, the breast, and the tuft to be yellow. I don't know why, but that's just, he's very round. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of purple in my brush here, put it in this well here. This is a custom mix of colors down here, but it's more or less purple, kind of a nice light purple color. So we're going to put that here, main part, maybe even kind of over here. And then let's put a little water in our brush. Let's wash those together. And you know what, I'm going to have to add in some more purple as well. So I'm just going to wash all that together. Let's grab some more purple. Let's put that kind of down here, along the back. Since my go-to is the little collars, let's give them a little collar. And then let's grab a real bright yellow color. And let's put that here. Soften it here. And then we're going to put them together here. And then I'm just going to kind of soften all these things together. I would like to see this bird in real life. Can you imagine this one flying into your backyard and just looking at you? This is the perfect video to watch while cleaning grout. Okay, so I'm using a size 1 quill brush. I'm just having like a real love affair with quill brushes. You know what, maybe for the next couple that we do, I might switch over just to using a normal size 12 round brush. These are usually my go-tos for beginners. I've just been, yeah, I'm having a moment with quill brushes, so, but we should actually try with the other ones. I'm going to add in that beak as well. Okay. And since we have so much room on this beak, we're going to do something a little bit extra here. So I'm actually going to kind of like what we've been doing with the other ones. I'm going to actually put that down, and then I'm going to wash this so it's going to be a little bit lighter at the top. Bring it to the top for his short. And then hopefully these will actually kind of bleed together just a little bit. Hee hee. Okay. So the main differences between quill and round brushes. So for example, let's take a look at this is a size 3 quill brush. So the sizing on quill brushes is different. Notice that this is a size 12 round brush, and this one looks a little bit bigger, even though this is a size 3 and this is a size 12. The main difference is, one, the bristles are a little bit different, but they also are typically a little bit wider to the length of this. See how it's basically the same length, but it's wider. And then, you know, when we get up to a much bigger one, it's going to be, they're kind of like, the ratio of the height to width is they're more stout. But what this does in the way that these are cut is they hold so much water. So much water. So if you're already using too much water, oops, wow, we're really getting lots of if you're already using too much water, quill brushes might not be a great option because they really deposit water. But if you're struggling to get enough water, quill brushes could be a really good option for you, because that's why I really like them, is they move a little bit more fluidly, and then they just hold so much more water. But I didn't really want to use quill brushes until I really kind of got this down. These, I find, the reason why I suggest something like a round brush to beginners is because there is some fluidity to them, but not so much that, you know, when you're beginning, you need a little bit more control over your supplies. And then, like, you reach this point where you're like, actually, I kind of want my supplies to allow me to be a little bit freer, a little bit looser. And when you're starting to kind of think that, that's when I would recommend switching over to a quill brush. Obviously, if you're curious about it, you can do whatever you want to, but that would be my main recommendation. The fingerprints off of paper, actually, you know what? Here, let's do this right now real quick. Let me find a extra strip. So I'm going to touch my very greasy forehead, and I'm going to put a fingerprint here. For those of you who don't know, watercolor uses water. So when we get our like greasy fingerprints on these, and then we actually try to paint over them, see how it actually repels that area right there where that grease is? You can often actually just kind of scrub your brush a little bit, and then you can get rid of it. But they can be kind of troublesome. Like, I'm really fighting against it. There's an area that's reappearing. So you want to try not to touch the paper as much as you can, but you can use this kind of light scrubbing motion to kind of get rid of it. Okay. So we've painted these. We're going to revisit. We're going to go into doing some pen details on some of these so that you guys can actually see a finished one of these. So let's actually take a look at these. This one is dry enough for me to go straight in. So let's talk about pen. I get this question quite a bit. A lot of times you're going to see me using something like this, which is just like a very generic, so this one's by Sipa, I guess. It's a felt tip pen, and this is more for like journaling and that kind of stuff. It is not a waterproof pen. So that means that if we use it, and then we were to paint something over it, it's going to smear it. See how it just kind of smears that? But I use them often because since my tendency is to ink second instead of first, it doesn't really matter. You can, on top of everything, as long as you're not going to paint anymore, you can use whatever pens you want to. But you can look for something like this. This one's water and fade resistant. This is a Pentel point liner. I don't know if I have like true recommendations for like waterproof pens, since this is not really something I do all that often. But after they set for a second, then when we actually do go to paint over them, they stay. See, we're putting it over there, and that pen mark is still there versus this one just went away. So if anybody has any suggestions, why don't you put them, you guys are so sweet with the likes. Thank you. If anybody has any suggestions on good waterproof pens, since this is not really my jam, why don't you put them in the comments and kind of help each other out? Because, yeah, I mean, people ask me all the time, and I'm like, I don't know, because I don't really use them like that. Okay, so I feel like I need to... I'm going to have to go in. I'm going into my iPad over here, and I am actually going to look up what an owl's face looks like, because I feel like I have it wrong. So I'm just going to kind of get a quick idea. Owl. Some of their faces, oh my gosh, look at that face. All right, so I mean, I kind of have an idea, but I'm missing a couple things. One, most of them have this kind of bit that comes down here, so we're going to start by, I'm just going to actually kind of indicate that there's kind of this little like brow thing. And I like when I'm adding my pen details, I do kind of a combination of like very confident strokes and then other areas where it's more kind of scribbly, scribblish. So like I'm going to keep that one pretty confident. They usually have these two little things here. And then they have big eyes. So we need to make sure that we're going to have the pupils. They got big pupils because they got to be able to see at night. And then they have big eyeballs. He's a little bit crazy looking. I kind of love it though. Okay, so let's further define. This is where kind of my little scribbling is going to start to happen. And then I'm just going to kind of define some of these shapes. I know we initially said we weren't going to do the horns, but I kind of think he needs it. So I'm just going to come up and let's very loosely hint to these little horns on his head. This is a real silly owl. It's a penguin owl. Oh my goodness. This is a very silly, very silly bird. I'm also going to add kind of just some, again, this is kind of little scribbles. And then I'll give him little like, this is my little ode to his feet. That's as much. I wonder if I can find it. One of my favorite things I have made in a long time is that owl, because they have really long legs when you pull them up. I made an owl a while ago, and yeah, I had him where you could pull him. He's a penguin. What do I think I should do about the wings situation? I kind of feel like bringing him down kind of here, but I don't know what to do. What do we think? I'm gonna go for it. I feel like there needs to be some marks here, so I'm just gonna bring that kind of here. We're just gonna kind of hint to. There we go. There is my very. Oh man, this one is really funny. This one's really cute to me. All right, so we're gonna move on to another one to see. This one is still a little bit too wet. He looks like an Alvin. I could see that. All right, so I am going to make these ones dry so we can add in the pen details on these ones, and then we'll paint a couple more together. So for those of you who don't know, when you're letting things dry with watercolor, you can either be very patient, which I am not good at, or you can use a heat gun or a hair dryer on kind of a low heat just to actually speed up the drying time. So that's why I say like make it dry, because literally we're going to kind of force it to dry a little bit faster. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. TikTok does a pretty good job of actually dampening the sound, but I know some people are really sensitive to sudden noises. So in case it doesn't do a good job, if you want to, you can turn your volume down for about 30 seconds. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this on now. All right, those should be dry enough. And yes, of course, there's a head wiggle. There is something satisfying about actually drying these. It's like, I get that same like little head wiggle when I eat something that I really like. Let's see. Seeing. Yeah, these ones all do kind of fit together a little bit, don't they? Okay, all right, let's add in some of these details. Let's do this one first. So I'm going to add in the details here of the beak. Whoop. And then I'm going to kind of hint to the tuft. There we go. And then the eye, I'm thinking would be around here. Okay, we're just going for it. And I'm going to try to leave a little glimmer in the eye. See, there's a little tiny spot that's open. We could add in just a bit of something there. And let's give him a little definition to his belly. This one might end up being my favorite one, actually. I do really like the plump. Like, I still remember that robin I saw, like one of the first real fat robins of spring. They just make me so happy. I'm gonna hint to where his little wing would be. I don't know if that's exactly where it would be. And then maybe just a couple little hints to some of the feathers. And then these would have kind of some lines. I don't know. This part's going to kind of be up to you and how you want to stylize your bird. And then let's add in this little branch. And I'm going to add in just a little. This doesn't need to be perfect, because the star of the show is this goofy little bird. I don't know why, but I feel like this bird's name is Gwendolyn. She's very sophisticated. Oh, well-fed cockatiel. All right, let's add in this one. Okay, this one can kind of go. This one does look kind of like an owl too, so we could lean into that if we wanted to. Let's see if we add just an eye. What are we thinking? Do we want to kind of go owl? This is not the shape of a beak for an owl. Maybe I'll kind of leave that for a second and wait and see if you guys have any interesting thoughts on the topic, while I kind of just add in. Remember, I kind of added this onto this is going to kind of be the fence. He's sitting on a fence. I do kind of like on these the style of leaving some of this just as pen sketches, and then other parts where we actually have colored in areas. I do kind of like the difference between that. That's a personal preference, though, so you might have a very different opinion. Peanut? Yeah, this one definitely is peanut. Oh, man. Let's further define this to kind of see if something speaks to me with the eyes. I'm just going to add on a little bit. I'm just kind of going with what my gut tells me as I'm adding in some of these little details. My gut has not yet spoke to me about the eye. You know what? Okay, we're going to go real cutesy style here. If you're worried about making eyes and things like that, you know, you can always just do that thing where you just take the eye and make it a little like this. And we could even give him a little whoop. That's kind of cute, right? That works for this. Peanut is very sweet. Okay, let's add ink to this one. This one has the potential to be a lot of fun, also kind of goofy, which I kind of love. Oops, I went a little bit out of the line, so I guess I'll just kind of color that in. If you take one thing from today's lesson, it's that we can use all sorts of variables and we can adapt things, and nothing needs to be perfect, especially when you're just kind of trying to... The idea of an exercise like this is to really get your creative juices just flowing. So be forgiving to yourself when you're doing this, and just kind of listen to your instincts and what they tell you to do. Because look how cute that little guy is. Let's add in, we're gonna add in some more stuff. Okay, so his eye, I feel like he should have like a kind of an oddly large eye. I don't know why. I'm gonna add in just a little bit of detailing to just kind of give him a little more texture. Oh yeah, there we go. Look how cute this one is. Even with his very awkward beak. He belongs in Alice in Wonderland, yeah. All right, I'm gonna do one more. Let's do one more bird together. Because I did schedule this for a little bit. You use the black sand for this one, Loving the Sparkle. Oh my god, Black Sand Beach is probably always going to be one of my favorite watercolors I've made, because it's just kind of like surprising. It granulates. It's got these interesting undertone of pink, and yeah, I love it. Oh, this one is fun. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do another one together. And again, in case you missed this part of this, but I just launched a Patreon, and when I'm done with this, I'm going to have at least 5 of these that I'd like to be able to send to people. And I think what I'll do in order to keep it safer for everyone is I'll make a post on Patreon saying this, and then the first however many people there are cards to say I want one, then I will message you directly through Patreon, specifically through Patreon, so that it is... Oh, I need one actually on this, so that it's a little bit safer, so that you know it's actually me and it's not kind of a scam. And then I'll send you a little postcard. Okay, so the head is going to be a round, large head. I need my pencil. There we go. Round, large head. The body is going to be a square. So I feel like with a head that's round and large, we need it to be about the same size as the body. The tail. We're going to have no tail. It kind of fits with this, like a little guy. The beak. Got another long, dull beak. Okay, so let's do them like this. And then the bird color is going to be, we got another gold. Man, the dice really want golds, browns, and neutrals. And yellow. We're gonna re-roll both of those because yeah, we have lots of yellow, we have lots of golds in here. All right, we're gonna start again. 6 gold. 3. Okay, red. There we go. All right, and then gold. Why does it want gold so much? Gold. I think we have to do gold. But I'm going to try for a third one. Yeah, red and gold would be pretty. We just have done a lot of gold. Oh my... I swear I'm not. Why is this so funny to me? Oh my gosh. Okay, white or neutral. That is not helpful either. Okay, all right, I give up. It's going to be red and gold and neutral. You know, I'm surprised. I feel like there's something... I was thinking that these would do more reds and like greens and stuff because these dice actually come from our Klingon Monopoly set. Oh gosh, that was really funny to me. Okay, so we're gonna have kind of a goofy looking dude. Let's have him. We're gonna have him looking a slightly different direction. We're gonna try. Maybe he's gonna kind of be looking downwards a little bit. Oh gosh, okay. We're going to start with the square body. So let's kind of give him a square-ish body. Okay, there's a square-ish body. I'm still recovering from the gold rolls. And then we're going to give him a big... round head. We never rolled oval. We never rolled. So he's got a pretty big head. Okay, let's kind of connect these together a little bit. There would be a little bit of overlap here, you know. Okay, that's in general the body shape. And then we're gonna clean that up a little bit. So most of these we've been kind of having them look off to the side, which I personally think, especially when you're getting started, if you want to have a greater, at least for me, when I wanted to have a greater chance for success at something not looking real kind of goofy, doing a profile of something is going to give you a leg up because you only have to do one eye, you only have to do kind of the main shapes. So you're not also having to try to like make things symmetrical on top of it. And so this is a good tip for beginners who are struggling is to actually do more of a profile. But we're going to try to make this one, he's going to mainly still have a profile, but we're going to have him kind of looking downward. Like maybe he's actually kind of looking down to try to spot an insect. I'm having the focusing issue again. We got a long, dull beak. This is quite long. I feel like this is looking too much like Pinocchio for me. So let's take a slightly different, maybe it's like dull, but it's a little bit wider. So maybe his mouth is more like that. I like that a little bit better. The other one was, yeah, I was feeling like it was like Pinocchio, like the block dolls that we're kind of putting together. Let's have him looking down here. So he will kind of have an eye somewhere here and somewhere here. He's going to look kind of goofy. We already know this. Maybe it's more like a duck. Maybe more like a duck. And then if we want to go with the duck thing, we could, and then we could have his feet be kind of like, I don't know. These are all kind of imagination type birds. So if you're, not all of these are going to turn out to be something like super spectacular, and that's okay. The no pressure red bird. All right, we're gonna make another one of these. So I'm grabbing some of this red, grabbing some red colors. And again, I'm kind of been doing this for most of these where I'm going to take the main color and I'm going to kind of plop it along the edges, and then I wash my brush, and then I can just kind of bring these together. Just going to scribble that in, and let's add in some even more red right along here. Because the bottom part, you know what, I'm gonna dot. The dots have my heart today. For some reason. Get some more red. Now let's bring that a little bit up in here. Just a little bit. This is a real goofy looking bird. And then I'm going to even put a couple little dots on his head. And then we're going to come in with some of that gold. A duck with a Hawaiian shirt. I could see that. All right, let's grab some of this gold. And let's also just dot this on. You know, these don't have to, the choices you make in this don't have to make a ton of sense because, you know, they're little imagination birds. We're going to bring this down into here. And then let's make his feet really, once this dries a little bit, I'm going to make his feet really, really gold, really saturated gold. What do we think with the bill? Should the bill be a dark color or should it also be gold and then we just really lean into the pen details on this one? I want the feet. These are kind of like the webbed feet where you just kind of see them peeking out a little bit. Whoop. From under his little body. Black and gold. Okay, let's do a little bit of both. Since I only really want this part to bleed in. We're gonna stay away from. I'm gonna try my best not to touch down here, but we're gonna add in a little bit of this black color, and I'm gonna try to stay away from touching. I can always kind of fill that in with the pen details. I do want it to bleed a little bit up here. So I'm just going to bring in, I feel like the pen details are going to really have to do some extra work on this one, for sure. I also feel like we should give him like weird little wings. And I'm going to drop a little gold on here as well. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave this one like this. Wings, he needs little wings. Let's add little wings. I don't know why, but something about this just, it feels a little more right. Okay, I'm gonna let this one dry. I'm gonna do one more because then we can ink both of them together and it'll, I don't know, just a little more fun. And then I've got an extra one too to send out. Okay. We're doing another one. Maybe we'll even, depending on what we get, we might turn this one the opposite direction. I've been doing them all as portrait. Okay. Come on, give me something that is not what we've already had. Okay, head. Square. We have had a square head, but that's okay. Okay, squarish head, the body, oval. We got something different. Okay, so we're gonna have an oval body. Okay. The tail is gonna be a short flat, so just a little one here. The beak is a small hook. Ooh, yeah, this one's actually kind of coming out to, all right, I'm on board with this one. All right, colors, what do we think is gonna happen? Is it gonna give us new fun colors, or is it gonna be stuck on gold? All right, number one, yellow. Okay, we are familiar with yellow today. Come on, pink, 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 pink. We got orange, yellow and orange. All right, what do you guys think? Should we keep it at yellow and orange? We did get a new color, or should we roll again for something else? Should we add a third color in, or just do the two? We have had a lot of recommendations for pink. You know what? We're just gonna, and pink, because yeah, you guys have asked for pink quite a few times. Yellow, orange, and pink. Those will be pretty together. Okay. So I think with the shape of this one, I do think I'm gonna need. Although we could. All right, you guys are also gonna have to give me some feedback on this. So it said an oval. So we have a square head, and we can either do a long oval like this. This is gonna kind of look like a parakeet or something. Or we can do a square head. Hold on, actually, let's do it this way. A square head, and we could make the oval like this so that it's like kind of roosting. We could kind of hint to the beak kind of like this. Do you guys want to do the vertical like a parrot, or like a little like broody? We are using tropical, so I will say that the parrot might fit better, but this could be fun. Oh no, I think I've made you guys split. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do both. We'll do both. We're gonna do the same color, but this will also show, because then I have another one. I'm having fun doing these, so let's just keep doing it. Okay, so let's start with this oval body. We have a short, flat tail. We've got a square head, squarish head. Let's connect them, and then we've got a little beak like this. Okay, let's put him again. We're gonna place him on something so we kind of have an idea. Okay, so there's our sketch for one. I'm gonna clean this up, and then we're gonna do the other one like this. Okay, we're gonna start with our big oval. Like this. I might have gone a little too. Hold on, let's bring this like this. And then let's bring, the head is going to be kind of a square shape. And the beak's going to be there. And then we would see that little tail here. So we wouldn't really even actually see the tail technically. I guess we could could we put it here? Like it's sticking up? Because I feel like this needs to be kind of like in like a little nest or something. Giving I'm a potato. Actually, we could probably put the tail like, let's put him, I don't know. Actually, I kind of like the tail back over here a little bit better. See, you can always just play with all this stuff. We could also just eliminate the tail altogether if we wanted to, but I think these are going to be really fun. So we're going to play with pink, orange, and yellow. And actually, I've been using different ones, but I'm going to switch over to, no, let's just keep these ones. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. I feel like the head, for some reason, it needs to have pink on the top. Here, going real bright. Let's wash. Oh, hello, Sarah. I have not seen you in a long time. I did see your video of your beautiful collaboration piece, though. Okay. And then I feel like the pink should be down here, too. So let's kind of hint to that down here. Should probably use a bigger brush, because this has got a big body. I'm loving this one. I'm loving this one. Okay, we're going to add in some yellow here and here. We're also going to grab some orange. And let's wash all this together. And then I think I'm going to add in some more kind of spots. I don't know. I'm just kind of scribbling these together. These don't have to, I mean, mine is not going to make a ton of sense. I'm just kind of going with like, hey, I kind of feel like putting this here. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Let's add in some more yellow in the form of some spots, because I've been feeling the spots today. Okay, this one could be super fun once it's done. It's her moo-moo. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave this one like this. And then let's work on our like more parrot type one. Thinking on this one, I'm feeling like yellow head. I'm going to go real bright here. I'm going to do a pink collar of feathers. It's going to kind of go down the back, and then we're going to transition a little bit into yellow and then some of that. This is a tropical gradient bird. Let's bring some of this here, and let's bring a lot of that pink into here, into this little tail. I'm going to wash and put a little water here. And then let's put a little more yellow. All right, I'm also going to add in the beak. I am going to do a dark color beak for this. And I don't want this to bleed too much, so I'm going to kind of double check. Yeah, we're doing, these are little watercolor postcards. So we did dice rolls to help us decide what we're painting as far as the shapes of the birds, which is why we've ended up with a variety of really funny looking birds in this round. I do think this one's going to be my favorite, but yeah, we also have this little guy. All right, we're going to need to make these dry. Oh, I'm going to add in just the tiniest little hint of these. They actually have pretty big feet. I don't know. All right, so we need to make these dry. So again, if you are sensitive to noises, and just in case TikTok doesn't do a good job of dampening it, it usually does. But I'm going to be turning on my little heat gun and drying these. So you might want to turn down the volume for about 30 seconds. So this is going to happen in 3, 2, and 1. All right, that should be good enough. And let's add in some pen details. And this one is, so yeah, somebody said this is a combination of like a duck and a platypus. Totally. I lived in Australia, and when I was there, I liked to go to the Taronga Zoo because they had a baby elephant. And I was also obsessed with seeing the platypus. And I was convinced there was a conspiracy theory because there were 2 platypus enclosures. And you'd go to one, and there would be a sign that says, like, you don't see the platypus? He's probably in the other enclosure. So then you'd go to the other one, and there would be the same sign. So I was convinced that they didn't actually have a platypus. I did eventually see it, but I was convinced that there was no actual platypus, and they just had 2 containers and signs. All right, so let's add in these. Whoop. The dice roll one brings up the feather. Okay, I'll have to look into that. You're from Australia. Have you ever seen a platypus in the wild? It's kind of like, we have beavers here, and I would love to see a beaver in the wild, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I feel like this one needs these like goofy little eyes like this. That's a really, really goofy looking bird. I also kind of think he needs a little, I don't know, something there. This one is not. This one is something else. He's real funny. Yeah, we have all sorts of evidence of beavers in Colorado, like right down by the river by me. But I've never actually seen one swimming around. It would be really fun to actually see one. This one, I just feel like he needs, I don't know, he needs something. He needs something more than what I've given him. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm trying to make him better. You get a beaver in your backyard? That's cool. Never, it's very rare, yeah. They're fascinating. Platypus are fascinating. This is something. Lines up, maybe here, let's add little like, some of this is helping, some of this is not, I don't know. Okay, he's okay. He's okay. Let's move on to these ones. All right, so we've got our parrot type 1. And what do parrots' eyes look like? Let me do a quick little search to get an idea. It's been a while since I've looked at a parrot. They have little eyes. They're relatively, well, no, not always. They kind of have theirs like here-ish, I guess. And then they kind of have like these little areas around it. So I'll add in a little bit of that. There we go. That actually kind of helps. It's not perfect, but it's better. I feel like it's better than the other one. And then his little wing would kind of be like here, his body. I do not have tropical birds near me, so these are clearly not my forte, but he's pretty cute. He's pretty cute. Maybe give him, they actually have some pretty defined like feathers, kind of like, you can really see the texture on these birds, so let's give them a little bit of this. Let's give them a little bit of some of these too. That's helping a little bit. A little bit. Okay. He's pretty cute. But I am most excited. I'm nervous about messing this one up because I think this one could be so cute. I think this one could be really cute. Alright, let's give some definition to the head just a little bit. This is our broody gal. Should I have little closed eyes like she's sleeping on her? Or should I actually keep them kind of open? Closed. Okay, so let's give her a little. Oh, so cute. And then this is the nest. So I'm just going to kind of scribble around down here for the nest. Oh my gosh. All right, we're going to have to take a look at all these ones together. This one could maybe have a little more. Let's give her a little. Just a little texture. So cute. One closed, one open. There. A little sweetness. All right, let's take a look at the ones that we did today. Just in case you are somehow joining just now. What we did today were these little, this is a creativity exercise basically, but we're making birds by rolling for all these different variables, which gives us some really interesting results. Like we made a little broody one. These actually technically use the same variables, but we changed the direction of one of the elements. So look how much one little thing can change about everything. Just one tiny little thing. We can get some really weird looking things. Or like this one, or like our peanut. This one we called Peanut. This one I called Gwendolyn. I do like this one. I think my favorites from this, though, if I had to choose my favorites, would be this. I do like our little owl type guy as well, the Burb Gang. And then I like this one, and I like the little broody girl too. So here's the ones that I created today. What's going to happen with these is that I just made a Patreon, and so I'm going to actually send these to some of the Patreon members. So probably won't happen immediately because I have got to go to the paint store before it closes because we're trying to paint our shed in our house, and they close kind of early. But maybe when I get back, I'm going to make a little post with these, and then the first few people who actually comment on that post in Patreon, I will reach out to you directly through Patreon. I'm being really very specific about the language I'm using here, and I know that you're like, we got it, but I just want to make sure, since there is that impersonation account, that you're not accidentally getting fished by me. So these communications will only be coming through Patreon. But anyways, I'll ask for your address, and then I'll just send you a little postcard because they're kind of fun, and then you can have a fun little postcard. So anyways, I hope that everybody had a lot of fun. I know I did, even though the dice were conspiring against me to only have gold and brown, but We finally got some color in there. I hope you guys had so much fun. If you do feel like sharing, tag me in your Instagram stories and things like that. I love seeing. And I hope that you guys have an absolute... I'm not going to make any of these prints. These are just... They will just go to their new home and then they're there. So yeah. I hope everybody had a really good day. And I'll talk to you guys soon.